right, guys. So happy Monday. I feel like this month is already flying by. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting myself geared up for Summit. If you're not able to go, I highly suggest getting, on the live streams that they're going to be hosting. I'll make sure that I'm sharing those links to you guys. But Summit's one of those things that just magic happens. Kelsey can probably attest, until you go to Summit, it's kind of like, I don't really know about this business. And then all of a sudden you go to Summit and it's like, wow, this is like so real. This is amazing. This company's amazing. And they're not slowing down. So if you're able to go to Summit, you guys, even if it's like, I get it, new moms. I get it. Like, I'm already stressed now about leaving Tenley. Believe me. We went to Cedar Point for like 4 hours, and I was like, but it's something that is so good for your business. It makes it real life, like I said, but you come back with so many new tips and suggestions to apply to your business immediately. And it's just like, if you're needing this, especially we're halfway through the year, guys, and sometimes we lose that fire in our belly halfway through. It's like, it's summertime, I'm slowing down, all the stuff. It's normal, but Summit's that one thing that reignites it for you. So if you're not able to go to Summit, make sure you listen to live stream. If you're able to go and you're just not pulling that trigger, highly suggest getting on the waiting list because they'll get everyone in. Okay, so do it. And we can meet live. I mean, when you can meet people face to face, so freaking cool. Okay, let me make sure I have everyone muted real quick. Hopefully it doesn't mute me. Okay, so I don't want to take too much time because I'm really excited to hear from Kelsey, and hopefully she's okay with me announcing this, but her and I got to hang out at Janelle's diamond trip, and we had met a couple times face to face and stuff like that, but I never got a chance to really connect with Kelsey, and I am just absolutely in love with her. Like, you are such a real down-to-earth, hard-working woman. She knows how to love on her team and set goals and go for them and give it her all, and our husbands have a little bit of a love affair as well. They are, I think, texting probably quite often, but it's always like, Dean said this and Dean said that, which is pretty cool. But we just clicked really at the diamond trip, and I know that she has so many tips and suggestions that are going to speak to you guys on how to really empower your team. Okay, because unfortunately you can't pull people through this business. Okay, this is something where you have to learn how to empower your leaders, and we don't take leadership classes, but it's learning how to work with those people. So Kelsey, you're going to have to share with them your rank advancements, because I wasn't able to. I just forgot. I'm sorry to ask you, but I know that she's a 6-star diamond at this point. And just very quickly moving up in the business. I've been watching her. Her Instagram is freaking amazing. Your posts on Facebook are just so real. And you guys, she just puts the time and effort in, and it's paying off. So Kelsey, I'm so excited to have you talk to the team, and I know I'm going to learn stuff too. So I'm going to hush up because I sound like a man with my cold, and you can take it over.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to do this call for you, Meg. I really am. And it was so fun to get to hang out with you and meet you and actually connect. And yeah, you're right. Our husbands totally have a love affair. It's so funny. But I'll share with you guys real quick my story and how I kind of got involved with Beachbody. So I had started with Turbo Fire and I had gotten results. So I started figuring out, kind of researching the coaching opportunity. But like probably a lot of you, I thought I was just too busy to do it. I was working full-time as an RN in an emergency department. I was working a lot of extra shifts. And on top of that, I was already trying to think of something I could do to stay at home when we were going to have a family, because this was before I was a mom. And so I was kind of dabbling with photography. I was doing that, about 10 to 15 hours a week on top of being a full-time RN. But what I soon found out was it's a lot of work to be a photographer. And then when do people want their photos done? In the evenings and on the weekends, which is when I wanted my time free for my family. And so I was like, that isn't working. So I was doing that. And then on top of that, it was a newlywed and we had just bought a foreclosure. So we were totally redoing our house. We had to buy carpet and just repaint everything, sanded the doors and the trim and repainted the ceilings. Like, we were in a lot of work with that. So I was really busy, but I kept thinking about this coaching opportunity because I naturally love to help people. And I was already getting results with the program. So I thought, well, maybe I could do this, you know? So I researched it some more and decided to go for it. And I've been coaching now for 3 years. But when I feel like I really went all in with the business is after I had my daughter Ruby and I had to come back to work from maternity leave. And that was really hard for me. We had made the decision at that time. The cool thing about nursing is that there's lots of flexibility with your hours and with the days you work. And so I had decided at that point, Dean and I, my husband, we decided that I was going to go back and do weekend option, which meant I worked every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and which was a plus. I didn't have to put my daughter in daycare, but then I didn't have that freedom to be with my family because my husband works Monday through Friday, and then there I was working every weekend. So we never had that family time. And I feel like that's really important for a growing family to have that stability. So went back to work, and I was talking to the people doing weekend option, and they were doing this for like 11 years. Like a lot of them had done it for a lot of years. And I just was visualizing my life at that point. And that wasn't what I wanted. That's not like what I wanted from my family. And so at that point I was like, okay, well, I could go and work part-time as an RN. I could work the 3 days a week in a row, but then not see my daughter for 3 full days because it's 12-hour shifts. I was like, Kelsey, you have this amazing opportunity right in front of you. Just go for it. And I believed in it full-heartedly. I just needed to get out of my own way and step outside my comfort zone and just go for it. And so that's what I did. So I hope that inspired you. And here I am now. I am 9 weeks pregnant with twins. And I literally am like, I cannot imagine what my life would have looked like if I hadn't gone all in with this business. So I do have a PowerPoint for you all. So I'm going to see, I've never tried sharing through Zoom. So I will see if I can do this here. Okay, can you see it, Meg?
Sorry, I was muted, and for some reason I thought you could see me. So yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay. So the topic is leading and empowering your team. And we're going to go over 4 points. First is mindset, then vision, leading by example, and then doing the I do, we do, you do. So first, I feel like mindset, like this for me is why I'm so passionate about this topic, because this was the game changer for me personally. I was in 2 like mindset things that I had to get out of my own way. And the first was just enabling instead of empowering my team. I'm such a natural people pleaser that when my coaches or would ask me questions, I would just give them the answer instead of showing them how I found the answer. And so I wasn't helping my team at all by just giving them all the answers. They would just lead them coming back, asking questions. They never felt confident enough to be a coach on their own. And so it just wasn't allowing them to grow as a leader, and it was holding me back as a leader myself. The other thing I was caught up in is I don't like attention on me. I don't like the spotlight on me. And so I was so afraid that if I told my team, like, let's shoot for 5-star and elite, and let's go for these big goals, that they were going to think that it was for me. And so it held me back from sharing that vision with my team of where I seen our team going as a whole, because I was so afraid of what they were going to think. Well, that was only in my own head. And what I soon found out is, when you share with your team where you see your team going as a whole, it excites them and it pushes them to help them hit their goals, whatever those are. If it's to be able to stay at home with their kids, if it's to be able to pay off some debt, take their family on a vacation, retire their husband so that they can work together. It holds them back from their goals if I don't help them and enable and empower them to go as a leader. So those were the 2 big things that I had to get over myself. And then I'm really big in faking it until you make it. And what I mean by that is if you're an emerald coach, act like a diamond coach. Don't act like an emerald coach, because what got you to emerald today isn't going to get you to diamond tomorrow. So I really had to start, at that point I think when I made that decision, I was a 1-star diamond. And so I really had to say, Kelsey, stop acting like a 1-star diamond. If you want to be 5-star in elite team, you have to act like a 5-star in elite team. And you have to figure out, okay, what are the elite teams doing that you're not doing, and close that gap. And so what I'm asking you to do is, if you're pushing to be a diamond coach, if you're pushing to be an elite team, figure out what you need to do to close that gap and start acting and doing those things, because that's what's going to get you where you want to go. And I know I hear a lot of the times, well, I'm not ready. I'm not diamond yet. I can't do that. Yes, you can. It's uncomfortable and it makes you nervous, but that's when you should do those things, because that's what's going to get you to where you want to go. And I hear a lot too is, looking for rock star coaches. I'm looking for like people that just want to go for it, or these A players on the team. And how I really think of it is, if you want those kind of people on your team, you have to be that kind of person. And I guess I think of it like this, and I think this is a really good example to use. So let's say you haven't joined as a coach yet, but you're really interested and you're ready to join. You're just trying to figure out, people do a lot of research. They figure out who they want to join for their team. And so you're a natural rock star. You're self-motivated. You're disciplined. You know what it takes because you've done your research and you're ready to go for it. And you're observing people. And are you going to join somebody that acts like it's a hobby, or acts like they're not super disciplined, or, they struggle with, really attracting like-minded people, and they don't have a clear vision? Like, you don't really understand what their mission is and why they're doing it. Like, are you going to join somebody like that, or are you going to join somebody that is showing up every day on social media and is practicing what they preach, and is being real and authentic, and is sharing what their vision is for their team and all of that? Like, who are you going to pick, right? If you're a rock star person already, you're going to pick somebody that's like you, that's a rock star. So that's why I say be the person you want to attract, because that's exactly what you will attract as A players and rock star coaches when you're an A player and a rock star coach. And I know you've probably heard this a bajillion times, but personal development really is where it's at. It gets your mind right every single day. I like to start with personal development because it just sets the tone. You can stay the course that way, and it allows you to not let other people's opinions derail you. If you're not in personal development every day, it's so easy to hear somebody's opinion and then go, oh my gosh, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe this isn't real. And if you're not in personal development, it can totally throw your game off. So that's why that's so critical. The second thing I really want to talk about is vision, and why it's important to share your vision. Where are you going? Where's your team going? I'm not a big politics person, but I can tell you that the 2 people that we have right now that are going for president this year have a clear vision. They know where they want our country to go, and they have gotten people on board with them because they have made their vision crystal clear. You know exactly what their intent is when they become president. And the people that didn't get into the final round or whatever, they had a vision, but they didn't put it out there enough, or it wasn't crystal clear. So I think about it like this: like, if you aren't sharing your vision publicly or with your coaches, they don't know whether to get on your boat or not, because where's your boat going? Like, are you headed? Where are you headed? What is your purpose? Like, what's happening? So they don't know, like, do I get on this boat? If I get on it, where am I going? They have nothing to push for. They don't understand why even push if I don't know where I'm going. So you really have to create the team vision, but then also personalize the vision for each individual coach too, because you have to figure out why are they doing this, as well as why are you doing this? Like, you need to know, like, what is your purpose? What is your vision for your life? So you even know what you're pushing for. So I say post about it publicly. before people even become coaches. So you're doing this publicly on the wall, on your Facebook wall, and in private messages before people become coaches. They need to understand that if they work really hard, they can replace their full-time income. It is possible. They need to understand publicly, like, that, you've paid off, even if it is a little credit card. It doesn't have to be these huge wins like you see coaches post about, a car or building a house or, these other things that are possible. Yes. But it can be the little things that, you've paid off a credit card, or you've helped pay for your family vacation, or you paid for gas in your car. Like, those are big things for people that are struggling. And to bait and recruit with purpose and your vision. So be constantly putting out there your vision for, your challenge groups and, the weight loss that they've had, or that you've made it through an entire program and you wouldn't have done it without coaching, because the accountability, like, that's showing people the vision of what it would be like if they become a coach on your team. And again, like, sharing your vision and your team page. Well, I'll be showing you a little bit about what I do in my team page in the upcoming slides. I'll share that with you. But, and then again, in one-on-one calls, when I do one-on-one calls with my coaches, I always talk to them about why, when they tell me that they're going for a specific goal, I always ask why. Like, I dig. I'm like, well, why do you want that? And why by that date? And for a lot, I've attracted a lot of nurses that also don't want to work Christmas and holidays. And they say, I work this Christmas and I don't want to have to go in and work this Christmas. Like, I want to work my butt off now so I can be at home with my family to help, see the kids as they get their Santa gifts and all those types of things. So when you create a crystal clear vision for your team and it's painted so perfectly, they won't give up on that because they've attached emotion to it. When you attach emotion to your why, people don't give up on that. And that's what I have found is so key is, it can feel awkward, pushing for, well, why? Why do you want that? And like, well, what do you see with that? But when you push for that, it allows people to open up their mind and go, well, why am I really pushing for that? And then they attach that emotion, like I said. And then once they've attached that emotion, they know why they're pushing for those goals. You know why they're pushing for those goals. And people don't give up on those types of things. So maybe you're stuck at diamond, or I've seen a lot of people push because they think the diamond is the end all be all, and they get there and it's just reality is it's just a stepping stone to where you're going. And then they let off the gas. So then they feel stuck because maybe they lost the diamond rank, or maybe they're not recruiting anymore. And the point is when you're creating that vision for your team, they need to see diamond as a stepping stone to beyond diamond, to this 2-star diamond. So they can open up their second business center. So they can go 5-star and 6-figure earning. So they can really start to picture what their life will be like when they attain those goals, that they don't stop pushing and that they keep on that consistent path of where they're headed. So here's some examples of what I do in my team page. I post a leaderboard. This is with my entire downline. This is with the entire family, Fit and Fabulous. And I just, we ended June with a bang, and I kind of talk about how many lives we've impacted that month. And I always, when I'm talking, to prospects that are thinking about coaching, I explain it like this. Like, I'm Kelsey. I'm just one person. I can only help so many people by myself. But when I am finding people, or when people come onto the team who also want to help people, now we're making a huge impact together. Well, I put 186 lives changed in June. I couldn't have done that alone. I couldn't have done that by myself. But as a team, we're making a difference. And that's what's exciting. And my team feels that energy. And we feed off of each other, and we work together because we try and beat, how we did last month, because the goal is to always help as many people as we can, either get started with the business or in a challenge group. And it's really fun to see all that going down. And then, of course, I always do a coach of the month. And then how I empower that coach of the month is I go live in my team page at least once a week, and do like a little, 10 to 15 minute training in there. Well, the coach of the month actually gets the opportunity to go live one time that month, and they can pick whatever day they want, and they can pick the topic they feel comfortable about, and they get to do a little training. And yes, it pushes them outside their comfort zone, but it just empowers them. Hey, I did it and I could do this again. And I think that's what's really key. Here's another example of how I empower my team. So our team has a goal of where we want to end the year. And so every month I post where we're falling in the company, and I really share with them, like, dude, we just went up, we were 67 last month and we're 58 this month. This is a team effort. Everybody matters. Every point matters. You're making a huge difference. And it really fires people up to go, oh my gosh, okay, we can do this again for next month. And it really is creating that vision and the goal for the team. Because I do think, people have, there's something to be said about personal goals, but then there's something to be said too when you're working together as a huge team for a specific goal. And that's really cool to see as well. And my third point is just to lead by example. And I'm sure you've heard this a bajillion times, but leadership really is a shadow. Like, think about it. When you smile at somebody, smiles are very contagious. People smile right back. So your coaches are going to do what you do, not what you say. Let me say that again, because this is super important. Your coaches will do what you do, not what you say. And this is with Success Club. This is with posting 3 to 5 times a day or going live on your Facebook. This is about getting on the team trainings, the National Wake Up Calls, trainings like this, doing your vital behaviors, setting business hours. Beachbody should give you a life, and it shouldn't be your life, but you have to set business hours, and you have to stick to them, and you have to stay super laser focused during those hours so that you can have a life. And I really believe that parenting is exactly like this. I've heard a bajillion times that, and I've even known this with my own life, that you don't really listen to your parents. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever, mom, or whatever, dad. But you do what they do. You're still watching them. You're still duplicating. Like, I'm even, like, the way I'm parenting Ruby, I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound just like my mother. But I'm duplicating what she's done, not what she said, but what she does. And I feel like coaching is exactly the same way. They're going to duplicate what you do, not what you say. And I have a quote here that children have been very good at listening to their elders, never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. Oh my gosh, I think I screwed that whole thing up. But you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to try that again. I'll mess it up again. But anyways, I think that's so key though. I think that you really just have to be the shadow. You have to be the mirror of exactly what you want your coaches to do. And of course, not everybody's going to gravitate to that. That's normal. You can't expect 100% of your coaches to run, but you have to run with the willing. And the willing are the ones that are duplicating what you're doing. And consistency is another huge one. And I'm not talking just consistent for a month or two, but for a year plus. Stay consistent with the business, with the vital behaviors for a year, and I promise you your business is going to grow. It just does. So you have to stay consistent. Even when you don't feel like it's working, even when, I get it. Sometimes these tasks are mundane and unsexy. I get it. But they're simple. And you just have to show up every day and you will see the results. To be good at anything in life, you have to stay consistent. And that's motherhood included. Like, think about it. If everyone's out to be a really good mom, right? But let's say one month you're like, I'm going to be a really good mom this month. And then next month you're like out, and you're like out with friends every night, and you're partying and you're doing all these other things, and you're like not in your kid's life. And then the next month you're like, okay, I'm going to be a good mom again. That it doesn't work that way. You have to be a good mom. You have to be in your kid's life every month, not just when you feel like it. And that's exactly true with coaching. You have to be consistent. You have to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. There are days when believe me, pregnant with twins, I feel nauseous and I'm tired, and I'm like, last thing I want to do is like play with Ruby Legos or something. But sometimes you just have to do it, even though you don't feel like it, because you want to be a good mom. keep things simple for duplication purposes. So, when you're emerald and you're looking to go diamond, it can seem like a huge jump. And so just encouraging your coaches, dude, you went emerald this month. Let's go emerald again. Help 3 to 5 people again this month. And you just keep doing that. And before they know it, they're like, holy cow, I have 8 coaches. I have 10 coaches. I'm so close to diamond. And then they can start to see it and visualize it for themselves. And then my last point I wanted to talk about is the I do, we do, and you do. You really have to still believe in your coaches. And I do this with challenge groups, and I do this with what is coaching called. So with challenge groups, when I get a new coach and I'm onboarding them, I say, okay, for this first challenge group, it starts August 1st. You can invite to it. I'm going to run the whole challenge group. You're just going to, participate in the challenge group, and you're going to support the challengers, the ones that you're bringing on, everyone else in the group. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the whole group myself. Then the next time you're going to do the same thing. You're going to invite to my challenge group, but we're going to do this together. We're going to co-host the group. You're going to do some posting. I'm going to do some posting. We're both going to encourage everybody. Then the next group, you team up with either one of your coaches, your new coaches, somebody on our team, your success partner, and you go for it and you do it. And you're never going to feel 100% ready, and that's normal. It's normal to feel nervous. It's normal to feel unready. You just have to go for it. Again, I think parenting is another really great example. Right now, Ruby is 2, and when I brought her home from the hospital, I did everything for her. I bathed her, I fed her, I changed her diaper, and she's 2 now. So I can say, hey, Ruby, go get your socks. I'll get your shoes, and we'll put these on together. So we're doing it together. And as she gets older, there's going to be more and more things that she's going to be able to do. And the point is, when she is done with high school, I want her to fly on her own. I don't want her being 40 years old living in my basement. I want her to be able to make a living for herself and to feel confident with that, right? But it's a stepping stone. It's the I do. We're going to do things together, and then you're going to go for it. And the same is true with coaching. Like, I just think of it the exact same way. Like, you're a baby coach. Like, I'll do this. You're going to watch me. We're going to do it together. And then you've got this, and you're going to empower them to go for it. I've just really found that the sooner you become independent from me, this is what I tell my coaches, the sooner you become independent from me, the sooner that you're going to see success, and the sooner that they'll feel confident, and the sooner that they're going to be able to fly on their own. If I'm always doing everything for you, I'm just holding you back. Like, I go back to thinking about when I was growing up and my mom, got a checking account for me, and I had to make some mistakes and learn for myself. But if my mom had just always done all that for me, I would have been like, I have no idea how to do this. And then I would have made even bigger mistakes as an adult. And so I think learning how to do all that and going through the process and me becoming independent from her so much faster has actually helped me in the long run. And I think the same is true with your coaches. You have to take ownership of your own business, and you really have to do things before you feel ready to do them. Like I said, you're going to feel nervous. You're going to have those butterflies. And if you have those feelings, you should do it. I tell you right now, speaking on this call, I had the butterflies before. I was getting nervous. I tell myself this is excitement, but you just do it, because I can tell you guys one thing. I want to speak on the National Wake Up Call one day. I want to speak at Summit one day. And you don't just get to do those things without doing these little stepping stones along the way. Speaking on Meg's call is huge for me. And so you have to do those stepping stones to get to where you want to go, and empower them to do it and find the answers. So what I mean by that is, I talked about before, I used to just send them, if they would ask me about, a training or about a like page, and I would just answer their question. Instead, what I do now is I'm like, oh my gosh, Janelle just talked about that in a team training a few weeks ago. I would just log into her website and go under her 2016 trainings. I'm sure you'll find it under, and I'll let me know if you don't find it. So I've given them the tools of how I would have found it for them. You know what I mean? I would have went through those steps and done it myself. before. And now I'm like, this is how I would go and find it. And then I'm always like, just let me know if you can't find it and I'll totally help you. But I want to empower them to know how to find the answers. Same with like the FAQ. If it's something I'm not even sure about, what would I do? I'd FAQ it. So I'm going to tell them, hey, have you looked it up in the FAQ yet? I'll just ask them a question to see if they've looked that up yet. And then of course I'll still help them, but I think it's important to show them how I would have found the answer. Again, I love this. I have a homework example with this. So as hard and kind of uncomfortable it is, sometimes it feels just easier just to give somebody the answer. But if you bring home, your kid and they have homework for math, and how much faster would it take you if you could just be like, okay, I know the answers. I'm just going to fill this out for you. It might take you 3 times as long to go sit down with your child and go through it and explain it and help them. But they're getting the confidence now. They're learning how to do it. They're empowered to go do the next homework assignment. And if you start doing their homework for them now, what are they going to do in 2 years from now? They never learned the homework from 2 years prior. So how are they going to figure it out later? So now you've just stuck in this vicious cycle of just doing it all for them. And that doesn't help anybody. It's not helping your kid. It's not helping your coaches. So I'm asking y'all, let's do a gut check action item list. And I'm sure Meg's going to post a recording in your team page. So comment below that recording and talk about and answer these questions. How is your mindset? And how are you needing to act like? If you're emerald, do you need to act like you're diamond? Do you know what your vision is? And are you sharing that with others? Are you doing what you're asking your team to do? And where do you need to close that gap more? And how are you going to empower your team? What kinds of things are you going to do? This quote sticks with me, and this is what really keeps me motivated all the time. So I'm going to share it with you. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. Your team is only going to go as fast as you go. And that's all I have.